The spring cruise season is back, and with it returns one of the ocean's most chaotic traditions, the legendary Pier Runner. You know the scene. The ship's horn is blasting, passengers are leaning over their balconies with phones ready, and somewhere in the distance, one poor soul is sprinting down the pier like they're competing in the Olympic finals. But this time, the drama leveled up. A recent viral incident on a Carnival Cruise Line sailing turned the usual run of shame into full-blown dockside chaos. Instead of doing the typical Pier Runner routine, running, apologizing, and accepting the embarrassment, one passenger showed up late and then demanded the ship wait because her friends were still making their way back. Clearly, in this case, the plan wasn't run to the ship. The plan was argue with the ship. Normally, though, the Pier Runner phenomenon is just another strange tradition of cruise culture. For passengers who returned early, it becomes an unexpected form of afternoon entertainment. From the comfort of their balconies, drink in hand, hundreds of people watch the pier to see who will be the day's final runner. The outcome usually goes one of two ways: either a desperate, lung-burning sprint that ends with a relieved stumble across the gangway, or the painful moment when the ship's ropes are released and the runner arrives seconds too late. It's the ultimate walk of shame, usually captured by dozens of smartphones and uploaded to social media before the ship even leaves the harbor. So why does this happen so often in ports like Cozumel-Nassau or Grand Cayman? Part of the answer lies in the atmosphere of Caribbean cruise ports. These places are practically designed to make you forget what time it is. Beach clubs are blasting music, margaritas keep flowing, and the island vibe makes a strict 4:30 p.m. all-aboard time feel more like a suggestion than a rule. Many passengers fall into the classic trap of just one more drink, forgetting that the walk from the port gates to the ship can be surprisingly long, sometimes nearly half a mile through crowds and duty-free shops. Another major culprit is the confusing difference between ship time and local time. Your phone might automatically switch to the local time zone the moment it connects to a cell tower while the ship keeps the time of its home port. That 1 hour difference can quietly turn a relaxing afternoon into a full-speed sprint back to the dock, and possibly the most embarrassing run of your vacation. The recent viral incident on a Carnival ship, however, wasn't about a simple time zone mistake. It was a masterclass in what we call passenger entitlement. According to witnesses and the viral video circulating on TikTok and X, a woman arrived at the pier approximately 25 to 30 minutes after the final call. Instead of being grateful that the gangway hadn't been pulled up yet, she began a heated confrontation with port security and ship staff. Her demand was simple and staggering. She wanted the ship to stay docked because her friends were still on their way back, and they were, by her own admission, quite drunk. This behavior highlights a growing trend of the customer is always right syndrome, taken to a dangerous extreme. Some travelers believe that because they paid a few $1,000s for a cruise fare, the entire operation of a 100,000-ton vessel should revolve around their personal schedule. This mindset ignores the reality that a cruise ship is not a private Uber. It is a complex maritime operation governed by international law, port contracts, and staggering costs. If you enjoy these deep dives into the chaotic world of cruise drama, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps us keep the ship sailing. The reality is that holding a ship for even 30 minutes can cost a cruise line tens of thousands of dollars. Cruise lines pay for berthing slots at a pier. If they stay past their scheduled departure time, the port can charge massive fines for every extra minute they occupy the space. Furthermore, to make up for lost time and still arrive at the next port on schedule, the ship must burn significantly more fuel to travel at higher speeds. When you multiply that by the environmental impact and the inconvenience to the 3,000 other passengers who actually followed the rules, the entitlement of one person demanding a delay becomes truly absurd. So what actually happens if you become a pier runner who fails to win the race? The moment the captain decides the lines must be pulled, the ship's security team performs a final sweep. They will actually enter your cabin, open your safe, and look for your passport and essential medications. If they find them, they hand them over to a port agent on the pier. The ship then sails away, leaving you standing on the concrete with nothing but your beach towel and a very expensive problem. From that moment on, you are on your own. You are responsible for booking your own hotel, arranging your own flights to the next port, and navigating foreign immigration laws. If you don't have your physical passport on you, you might be stuck in a foreign country for days while you work with an embassy to get emergency travel documents. The cost of missing a ship can easily reach $2,000 to $5,000 per person. And travel insurance rarely covers "I was having too much fun at the bar" as a valid reason for a claim. It is a financial and emotional nightmare that can turn a dream vacation into a debt-filled disaster. To avoid becoming the subject of the next viral shame video, there are a few simple rules every cruiser should follow. First, always take a photo of the All Aboard sign as you exit the ship. It is usually posted right at the gangway. Second, never rely on your phone's clock. Check the ship's time on the official app or a manual watch set to ship time. Third, always aim to be back at the pier at least 60 minutes before departure. This gives you a buffer for long lines at security or unexpected transportation delays. One of the best insurance policies is to book your shore excursions directly through the cruise line. While they may be slightly more expensive than booking a private tour, they come with a back-to-ship guarantee. If a ship-sponsored tour is late, the ship will wait. If the ship absolutely cannot wait, the cruise line is responsible for getting you to the next port at no extra cost to you. If you are on a private tour or a solo beach trip and you are late, you are simply a spectator watching the ship's taillights disappear into the sunset. The case of the entitled Carnival passenger serves as a stark reminder that cruise travel requires a level of communal respect. When you board a ship, you are entering a community of thousands. Your right to have a few more drinks does not outweigh the captain's responsibility to maintain a schedule and the rights of other passengers to arrive at their next destination on time. The woman in the video eventually became a symbol of what not to do. Don't argue with security, don't demand the impossible, and certainly don't expect a multi-billion-dollar ship to wait for your intoxicated friends. Cruise vacations are supposed to be relaxing escapes filled with ocean views, entertainment, and stress-free days at sea. But sometimes the opposite happens. Entitlement, too much alcohol, and passengers refusing to follow basic rules can quickly turn a peaceful trip into chaos. In this video, we count down some of the most shocking and dramatic Karen moments ever captured on cruise ships. The first incident begins with what should have been a normal, relaxing moment on a cruise. Music was playing from a small Bluetooth speaker as passengers enjoyed the sea breeze. But suddenly, another passenger walked over, grabbed the speaker without permission, and threw it straight over the railing into the ocean. The reason some cruise ships have rules restricting personal speakers in public areas. Instead of notifying crew members or letting staff handle the situation, the passenger decided to enforce the rule personally. The moment quickly turned from a minor annoyance into outright theft and a shocking display of entitlement. Another tense moment unfolded on the crowded pool deck where space is often limited and tempers can rise quickly. In this incident, a man approached a seating area where a woman was already comfortably sitting. Instead of politely asking for space, he aggressively grabbed her chair and pulled it aside so he could squeeze his own seat into the area. The sudden movement nearly caused the woman to fall, shocking everyone nearby. For a brief moment, the surrounding passengers froze, unsure of what had just happened. Then, the crowd reacted, confronting the man and calling out his behavior, turning a simple seating issue into a public confrontation. One of the most common conflicts on cruise ships happens on the pool deck, where the battle for lounge chairs begins early in the morning. Passengers often place towels, flip-flops, or personal items on chairs to reserve them before disappearing for hours. As a result, many of the best seats sit empty, while other guests walk around searching for a place to relax. Most cruise lines technically have policies allowing crew members to remove unattended items after a certain amount of time. However, enforcement is often inconsistent, which is why the so-called pool chair reservation war continues to frustrate passengers on many cruises. Another viral moment came from a passenger who claimed a cruise ship had cruelly abandoned her on a Mexican island. In the video she posted online, she filmed the ship sailing away while expressing shock and anger, asking viewers what she was supposed to do now that she was stranded. At first, many people online sympathized with her situation and criticized the cruise line. But as more information surfaced, the story took a different turn. Other passengers explained that the ship had not left early at all. According to reports, the woman had been drinking on the beach, listening to music, and eventually fell asleep, causing her to miss the scheduled departure time. What looked like a shocking abandonment quickly became a lesson in why cruise departure times are taken so seriously. In another widely shared moment, a passenger claimed her entire cruise had been ruined by the people staying in the cabin next door. According to her, the neighbors were blasting loud music late into the night and smoking on their balcony, making it impossible for her to relax.
Hey TikTok, so this video is for at Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. We are on day 4 of our cruise, and we've had an ongoing problem with the people in the room next to us playing loud music all night long, really loud. Now they're smoking on their balcony, which is an interior balcony, smoking in their room, and just making so much noise, really rude music.
She said she called ship security multiple times, hoping the issue would be resolved, but felt that nothing changed.
We've called security, I don't know how many times, 8 times we've called security, and we're not getting any relief from the problem of the people next door.
Frustrated after several days, she turned to social media and posted a video explaining that her family had spent around $40,000 on the cruise, only to feel like their vacation had been completely disrupted. The video quickly spread online, sparking debate about passenger expectations and how cruise lines handle onboard complaints. One of the most chaotic scenes happened during the pandemic, when a passenger was removed from a cruise ship after testing positive for COVID. Instead of quietly following the health procedures, she began filming the entire situation on her phone, while arguing with crew members. Throughout the video, she complained about the rules, said she couldn't breathe with a mask on, and repeatedly refused to cooperate.
We spent 1 day on the ship, and the rest, yesterday and today, in our room, as prisoners. Prisoners, because of their mistake. Okay? We tested negative for COVID. They want to test me with the thing in the back of my throat and tell me I tested positive. My daughter, I appreciate it.
Tell them our complaint form.
Here's our complaint. We asked them for a complaint form so we could fill out a complaint form of everything that they put us through. This is what they gave us, a freaking piece of stationery. You getting this?
Another tense situation unfolded during a shore excursion when a woman refused to follow a basic requirement, wearing the proper wristband for the ferry ride. Staff informed her that without the wristband she could not stay on board and needed to disembark. Instead of complying, she refused to move and argued that she had already paid for the excursion. The standoff dragged on for nearly an hour, leaving other passengers stuck waiting in the heat. Eventually, authorities were called in to resolve the situation, and the woman was physically escorted off the ferry while frustrated travelers looked on. One of the most uncomfortable scenes happened during what was supposed to be a fun night of live music on board. As the band played and passengers gathered around to enjoy the show, an intoxicated passenger suddenly began shouting and interrupting the performance.
You want to call me an asshole? I just sat over here and cried. My daughter doesn't love me. But you want to call me an asshole? Motherfuckers? Then you want to play for clowns like this? There are only 1,000 people on this ship. And I went to sleep. You want to call me an asshole? I'm Karen.
Her emotional outburst quickly drew attention from everyone nearby, turning the lively atmosphere into an awkward and chaotic scene. The situation escalated so much that the band eventually had to stop playing. What should have been a relaxing evening of entertainment instead became a moment of disruption that left many passengers stunned. Another incident happened during a port stop in Mexico, where a cruise passenger became upset about local musicians playing traditional music on a public beach.
Why?
Instead of simply moving to a quieter area, she loudly complained about the noise and demanded that the musicians stop. The situation quickly drew attention from people nearby, many of whom felt her reaction was disrespectful to the local culture and environment. After all, the musicians were performing in their own country and on a public beach. What began as a complaint about noise quickly turned into a tense confrontation about respect and cultural awareness. The most disturbing incident began with a major disturbance on the ship's deck, where a passenger was seen screaming and resisting security as crew members tried to calm the situation. Other passengers watched as the scene unfolded, unsure how serious it would become. Later, the situation took a tragic turn when the woman reportedly jumped from her cabin balcony into the ocean. Emergency procedures were immediately triggered, and a life preserver was thrown into the water as the ship began search efforts. The shocking event served as a stark reminder that while cruise vacations are meant to be enjoyable, serious incidents can sometimes happen at sea. The rules on board aren't there to ruin anyone's vacation. They exist to keep everything safe, fair, and enjoyable for everyone.